Nearly a third of school budgets didn't pass this year. For the Kingdom East School District, they proposed a new school budget in their last meeting. News 7 Oscar Paredes has the report.
This is the first time the school budget didn't pass since they became a unified district. The proposed budget for town meeting was $49.2 million. Superintendent of the district, Sean McMahon, gave his thoughts on why he thinks the budget didn't pass.
I think what we heard, from voters is, number one, that they wanted to send a message to Montpelier that they feel like the system is too complicated. It's hard to understand.
Last Tuesday, school board members met to discuss about the new proposed budget. Even though everyone had different concerns about this new budget, the main question was if they were all going to agree with it.
The Finance Committee in the amount of $48,001,455.
All in favor?
Aye.
The board made a cut of $1.2 million from their previous budget, which reduced it to $48 million. On the meeting, it was also stated when the budget can be voted on.
We hold the informational meeting, which I think we are doing on April 3rd at 6 p.m. And then we'll have the vote on April 9th.
If the school budget isn't approved by July 1st, the school is forced to run with their current budget. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
People will be able to vote on this new proposed budget by Australian ballot.
In the second-to-last legislative breakfast held yesterday morning, education in the state and school budgets not passing are the major concerns as of now. Schools have tried to make some changes in their budgets, but it hasn't worked. School board member for St. Johnsbury District, Abigail Campbell, talked about the main reason she wants the budgets to pass.
Of course, right now for me, I just would really like to see get our budget passed, and for the students in the St. Johnsbury School and in our educational community here, the over 1,000 students that we serve, that they have the education that they deserve.
At the meeting, it was stated the education fund will be projected to be greater than the general fund for the first time ever. Representative Scott Beck talked about how that would set up the budgets for next year.
The education fund this year is projected to be greater than the general fund for the first time ever, and we're setting ourselves up for a really bad budgeting season next year.
Schools have until July 1st to pass their budgets. Otherwise, they will be forced to borrow 87% of its prior year's budget. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
The Fairbanks Museum in St. Johnsbury opened their doors to the public this past weekend. News 7's Oscar Paredes has the report.
Not only did the museum open, it was also the grand opening of their new annex, the Oscar Tank Science Annex. It was in the works for a couple of years, and even though it is open, Executive Director Adam Kane stated it isn't fully done.
The building itself is completed. What is not done yet, because we're in the middle of winter, is any of the site work. So there's still more grading and sidewalks.
It is an interactive experience for the kids and the parents. For the kids, it is a fun way to build things and create whatever they want. Like this little kid named Enkidu Cole.
So yeah, it's just my favorite place.
For Enkidu's mother, this is a great addition for the museum, not only for her kid, but also to many other parents who have the same situation.
So to have an expanded kid space that's much more similar to some of these bigger museums we have to travel a long way to go to is really exciting, especially.
Adam expects for everything to be done by late May to early June. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
For the second time in a row, Kingdom East School District's new budget didn't pass, and the board is now scrambling to come up with a passable budget. News 7's Oscar Paredes has the report.
In their last Finance Committee meeting, it was shown voters from all 8 towns rejected the $48 million budget on April 9th. The total of votes were 318 yes, 652 no. Superintendent for KESD, Sean McCannon, stated what might have caused voters to reject this new budget.
It really speaks to the fact that property values are increasing, which increases pressure on the tax rate.
In Vermont, the biggest thing in taxes are the schools. Most people don't want to pay for school taxes if they don't have kids. President of Hope, Bob McCabe, stated how he feels about this.
I think that it's for the greater good. You know, if you don't drive a car, then you have to pay things. You pay, you know, it's not a user tax. You know, it's for the greater good for the community.
Kingdom East School District will have a school board meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
Both public safety services are having this talk for quite some time. The reason for this possible merger is because of not having enough people, and they feel it is time to do something about it.
We're at a time now where we just have to start looking at other ways to work together and provide the service for the future, because quite honestly, things are not going to get better.
In past years, both services had a good significant amount of people working. Even with having enough people, it was still something to consider.
To be perfectly honest, when I started in 2001, I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was the way to go.
Bradley Reed and Michael Wright hope to make this merger as soon as possible to make their services more accessible. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
The St. Johnsbury Police Department is still trying to hire police officers. News 7's Oscar Paredes has the full rundown.
For some time now, the station has had problems hiring new police officers. A way to get new officers is through recruitment or going to job fairs. Police Chief Joel Pierce states on why it is hard to find people to join the station.
Interest is one of the biggest problems, which we're trying to work on now. We're looking at recruitment and retention efforts, you know, to try to incentivize the positions.
With not many people on the station, it has forced current officers to work more than usual. Detective for the station, Brianna Murphy, states how difficult it can be to help out people in the community with limited people.
You know, we see people every day, that's our job, but when somebody calls the police, they're typically calling on their worst day. So it's not common for them to see the police.
Brianna also stated that with more people in the station, they can be more involved with the people and not just answering phone calls. Oscar Paredes, News 7. In November, the Linden Outing Club was granted a 501c3 status. This means the club is now officially a nonprofit organization and can now receive donations from the community. This was the second time they have applied for the grant. They applied for it back in 2008, but were granted a 501c4, which meant all donations were not tax deductible. Outgoing president of the club, Wendy Beatty, talked about the requirements to receive this status.
We have to show that we are supported by the community through donations, and we have to have a mission statement, and our mission statement is to provide affordable skiing and outdoor recreational opportunities for students and family members.
Even though the club received this status, newly elected club president Dave Smith still hopes he can get what the club has been struggling to get for decades.
One thing I'm really pushing for is the snowmaking. That was the real reason, I guess, the drive behind why I wanted to get involved, because the outing club is one of the very few ski areas left in the whole nation that is still existing without snowmaking.
Dave also added that some years they couldn't open due to the lack of snow. Oscar Paredes, News 7. The station is expecting to get new trucks by the end of the year, and another one at the start of next year. Fire Chief Bradley Reed explained why the trucks have to be replaced at a certain time.
Age out at about 20 years, that's when you start having more maintenance problems with them, which we've been experiencing quite a bit.
The fire department receives help from other nearby stations. In case they don't have the help they need, they still figure out a way to respond to an emergency.
So we are down one apparatus right now. So that means we have to try to put as much equipment on the other apparatus as we can.
Bradley also added that he plans to take out a loan of $1.65 million in order to get the trucks. Oscar Paredes, News 7.
Terry Williams is not seeking re-election this year to continue to be a member of the House of Representatives. News 7 Oscar Paredes has the story.
Representative Terry Williams has been a member of the House of Representatives since 2021. Her term ends in December 31st, and she explained why she isn't seeking re-election.
I'm at that stage in my life where my next chapter is retirement. I'll be 68 in November, and I am ready to play.
Terry represents the Essex and Caledonia districts. Since she isn't seeking re-election, She is supporting Burke Area Chamber President John Kaczynska to fill her position. He explains why he thinks he is the right person for the job.
Well, there's a lot of issues that our communities are facing here, clearly here. Affordability is one of the larger issues here. Working on, looking at ways that we can increase affordability here.
In order to get the position, Kaczynska needs 50 signatures for a petition and then needs to be elected in November to start in January. Oscar Paredes, News 7. The St. Johnsbury Recreation Department just recently opened 2 outdoor rinks, one in Four Seasons Park in the middle of Main Street and Winter Street, and the other at Portland Street with the help of volunteers. Peter Schweigert, one of the volunteers, explained why he helped set them up.
I love ice skating and playing hockey in the winter.
Even though people use the rink to have fun in different ways, Director of the department, Jason Gray, said that it came with a challenge.
Typically, I think we'd want to get the rinks down in November and kind of get things set up then and then go from there. But with the warmer temperatures, we had to push it back a month and a half.
In the last couple of days, the rinks were closed due to weather issues. Oscar Paredes, News 7.